Have you heard that eating a whole food, plant-based diet can help you reverse chronic disease, but you don't know where to start? My guest today healed her gut issues and lost over 50 pounds just by changing what she ate. If you have a chronic disease, you don't want to miss this episode because I'm going to ask her exactly how she did it. Welcome to the Fabulous Health Show. I'm your host, Terry Chrisman. I'm a whole food, plant-based nutrition professional, and this show gives you the tools to help you obtain optimal health so that you can live a long, happy life and age with grace and vitality. It is episode 65 today, and I am joined by the absolutely delightful Susie Ann Lybarger.
Hey, everybody.
Susie Ann is a member of our Whole Food Plant-Based Lifestyle for Beginners Facebook group. Let's put a little thing around us so we look pretty. There we go. And I'm so happy to have you here today, Susie Ann. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So I know there's going to be a whole bunch of people joining on live tonight, which is fantastic. And if you didn't manage to join on live, by all means, listen to the replay. It's fantastic. We love to have you on. So, Susie Ann, let's start from the very beginning. You are ultra healthy now, but it wasn't always that way. So please tell us, where were you before you started your whole food plant-based lifestyle? Where was your health?
If I back up way back to 2005 is when I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I don't want to go into too much details about that on the internet because it's, TMI kind of stuff. But I was pretty sick for several years. I was in a constant flare for about 3 or 4 years. And then they finally put me on a biologic medicine called Remicade, and that got me into remission for about 8 months. And then it came back, and just off and on over the years, I finally was able to get out of a stressful situation, and I got a little bit healthier, but I would still, have these flare-ups now and then. And then we can fast forward to like last year. Last year I was doing pretty good, cruising along. I was on the standard American diet, so I was about 190 something pounds. And
how tall are you?
I'm 5'7". So I mean, I wasn't like severely overweight, but I was chunky. I mean, I don't know if you have I don't know if you can show my before and after picture that I sent. I don't know if you're able to do that.
Darling, you would have had to ask me that in advance. This is too much technology for me right now.
I mean, I can share it on the group.
Yeah, is absolutely available if you're in the whole food plant-based lifestyle for beginners Facebook group. And if you're not, then just ask me to join and I'll let you in.
There you go. But I was just kind of roly-poly, I was just chubby and lacking energy. I had arthritis in my hands. I was having trouble opening jars, and my knees hurt. My hips were.
And how old are you, darling?
I'm 58. I will be 58.
That's a bit young to be having knees hurting and you can't open jars and stuff like that, isn't it?
I think all that is tied in with the inflammatory, from my ulcerative colitis, because it's a systemic thing, really. It can affect your organs and skin and things like that. But
so 195 pounds, ulcerative colitis. You got arthritis. Your knees hurt you. Did you think you were falling apart?
I did. And I just had kind of resigned myself to the fact that I was just going to be a chubby little old lady. You see these old ladies and they're just a little bit chubby, and, that's just I was kind of almost giving up, because I had tried Beachbody. I had tried dieting. I had tried 1,200 calories a day, portion sizes, restricting what I was eating. And you get results for a few months or whatever, but always you go off the wagon. I mean, I don't know anybody who's ever been able to stick to a really strict diet and working out and all that kind of thing. And so eventually I just, I had some oral surgery back in on April 1st. And before that oral surgery, I was in remission from my colitis, still overweight, still having arthritis pain in my hands and stuff though. And I had to take antibiotics for 10 days for this oral surgery that I had. And that put me into one of the worst flares I ever had, because it killed all that good bacteria in my gut. And it just threw me down the cliff.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah,
that's because a lot of people don't connect the dots.
yes,
Yes, we are just one being, aren't we?
yes,
So you have something going on in one part of your body and
yep,
it affects other parts of your body. Sorry, I had to
yes.
interject. Keep going.
No,
Keep
that's
going.
okay. And people don't realize your gut flora is the key to your health. I mean, that is your barrier from disease and things like this. And when I took those antibiotics, I was on 2 different heavy antibiotics for 10 days. It just killed everything in my gut. And so I got into the worst flare of my life. And I mean, I was so sick. They had to put me on steroids. I was taking prednisone. I was taking this drug called mesalamine, 4.5 grams a day of that drug, plus the prednisone. And so what I did was I finished the antibiotics and I was just sick as a dog. So I started down in the probiotics and talking to my stepdaughter, and she is a vegan. And she was telling me, hey, I healed a lot of she had IBS, which is like a syndrome. It's not really a disease, but IBS is like a thing that a lot of people deal with. And she said she healed her IBS from just going vegan. So I thought, I'm going to give this vegan thing a try. So I gave up meat and I gave up dairy, but I hadn't given up oils or any of that stuff yet.
Right.
I just thought, I'll just try this. And I did kind of start getting a little bit better, and I did lose maybe 10 pounds or something like that, or maybe even 15 pounds. I got down to like 180 pounds, I think, or 100, something like that.
Can I just interject here and ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Oh, you were 195 pounds, because I'm going to get to the nitty gritty. People want to know the nitty gritty, okay?
Yeah.
You were 195 pounds. What were you eating to get a 5'7" woman to 195 pounds? Were you
This is the best part. I thought I was doing good. I thought I was doing good. I was eating salmon. I was eating vegetables. I was eating no potatoes. I was eating chicken. I was eating cheese because this was my thing. My thing was cheese, and I was born a carnivore. I should have been born a lion because I loved meat. And I love cheese and all that stuff. So, but I wasn't eating a bunch of junk food. I wasn't eating cookies that much. Once in a while we would have something like that. But we were mainly just eating, I was having eggs and whatever for dinner.
Right, so you thought you were eating a healthy diet?
Yes, I thought I was eating a healthy diet. I'm thinking,
gosh, why am I going out to, Chick-fil-A every weekend and eating the fried garbage?
Yeah, I would go to Chick-fil-A and have their grilled chicken sandwich, thinking it was good for me. And I really thought that I was doing okay. But once I gave up the meat and went vegan, I did kind of start dropping a little bit of weight. And I noticed I did kind of start feeling a little bit better. And I wish I could tell you my aha moment, because I can't remember something I saw on Facebook or something. I must have been researching vegan something on YouTube. And I came across the video Forks Over Knives. And I just thought, I wonder, I watched it and I was like, cha-ching. I had no clue about oils being so bad. Oh, and then I had gotten into, this is where I skip around a lot, you guys. I'm really sorry. But also at the time I was involved in Facebook with this other kind of a whole food plant-based group with a couple of other ladies that were doing it. And I got involved in that a little bit. And they were the ones that were kind of originally steering me away from oil. Get out of, don't use oil. And if you want to have salad dressing, use the aquafaba from Mexicana garbanzo beans, which I would do. I'd pour that liquid from Mexicana garbanzo beans into a little bowl, and I'd put balsamic vinegar and lime juice in it. And that makes an amazing salad dressing.
That is amazing. There's a light bulb moment there. If you're taking notes, people, take that note. That is pure gold right there.
Yes.
Use that. Yes. Don't throw that bean water away.
Don't throw the bean water away. It makes a great salad dressing base, like the best. And it even has the consistency of salad, almost like an oily consistency, because it is kind of a thicker
thickness
juice almost.
You know what I used to do before I discovered the ease of aquafaba? I used to get vegetable stock, and I would thicken it with some tapioca starch or something like that, just so that you could get that viscosity of the oil. and also it takes away the acidity of the vinegar. And that's what oil does. It thickens up the dressing and it takes away the acidity of the vinegar. And I would do that with stock as well. But having the aquafaba, it does exactly the same thing. So, okay, so you watched Forks Over Knives, and was it light bulb moment, or was it like,
it was kind of a light bulb moment. And then I came across another video called The Game Changers, and that's between those two. Those were the first two I watched. I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. And when I gave up the oils and I was already kind of off refined sugar when I went vegan, and I still cheat a little bit on the salt though. That's been the hardest thing for me to give up. But I am so strict, no oil. I have no oil in my house. I use veggie stock or water if I have to saute anything. I just get a great nonstick pan. The Blue Diamond nonstick pans are fabulous to saute stuff in. If you just keep a little bit of water or veggie stock in there, stuff won't stick. And once I got a hold of those two videos and I got really strict on the oil and no sugar, no dairy, nothing, the weight just started coming off. And the reason I did not get into this diet, I did not get into this diet for weight loss. I got into this diet because I was in a bad flare of my disease. I was just feeling like I was falling apart pretty much. And I thought this is going to be like a last ditch effort thing to try to get the inflammation in my body down. And I can't tell you, I have no arthritis in my hands. It's completely gone. My colitis right now is in remission. I'm not on any medications. I've been asymptomatic for, months now. And I feel so better. And I've lost 53 something pounds now.
It's amazing. When I first met you, you were coming up to 40 pounds. And that was only a few months ago. And now you've dropped another, dozen pounds. I just dropped.
And I don't even work out. I don't hardly work out. I was kind of walking.
People should work out.
Yes, you should. But I don't. Well, right now here in Texas, it is so hot. And I live out in the country. So me going to a gym, it's like a long drive, half an hour or so. And I have some stuff here, but I haven't really been, plugging away at working out like I should. But I still, it has blown my mind. Never in my life at my age, because here I am postmenopausal.
That's another thing, isn't it?
This weight is stuck with me, I'm stuck. My belly's gone. I used to have this big old belly that my grandbaby could just sit and bounce on. And now he's, he sits on my lap now instead of my belly. And
so I've just got to interrupt because I love your story, but we're short on time, Susie Ann. So let me ask you, when you changed your diet, I know I get a lot of people come to me and say, I really want to eat plant-based, but I don't want to cook, 5 meals, one for me, one for kid A, one for kid B, one for husband, one for dog, etc., etc. How did your family deal with you going plant-based?
Fortunately for me, my husband wasn't on board at first. My husband actually got off sugar before I did because he was having arthritis in his hands and he's beat his body up doing construction his whole life. And so he went off sugar before I did. But once I went plant-based, he even said to me, I just don't, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to give up meat. That was his mindset. And then when I watched those 2 documentaries and I had him watch those 2 documentaries with me, he jumped off the diving board into the deep end. And he has been in it with me since the beginning, and which really makes it a lot easier. And he's lost 30 something pounds. His arthritis is gone. He had carpal tunnel, and he had carpal tunnel in one of his arms so bad he couldn't sleep at night. It would keep him up because he was constantly, that numbness and tingling and everything. That is gone. He was looking to having surgery about it, and now it doesn't bother him at all anymore.
And that's really interesting because people would normally associate that with a mechanical injury, wouldn't they? So overuse injury from doing whatever he did with his hands.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was that. But he had so much inflammation in his body from eating meat and, going to the gas station and getting them chicken burritos, that was the last meat meal.
People actually buy those things?
Yes. Well, here in Texas, they really are good. The gas stations here in Texas that have these little, cafeteria things in there with they're actually really, that was my last meat meal, was a chicken burrito from a gas station, and it was delicious. I cannot lie. It was delicious, but that was my last meat meal with him. And now he's on the thing with me too, and he's feeling so much better, and he's skinny as me almost,
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we really need to get to the nitty gritty, because sometimes people are overwhelmed. You've just said, look, it sounds to me that you're saying it's easy peasy, bright and breezy. And I know it's not easy peasy, bright and breezy. Transition is difficult.
Right.
But you saw 2 movies and you said, I've got to change my life because I am as sick as a dog and I really need to get well, and I think this is going to work. What do you eat? Let's just I'll just ask you, what do you have for breakfast?
Okay. 99% of every morning, I will have a big bowl of oatmeal, and it'll have bananas, blueberries, and we use almond milk. I make homemade almond milk here, and that's pretty much, and we'll put a little bit of walnuts in there. And that's pretty much what I have for breakfast 99% of the time. Either that, or I will have a slice of toast with a little bit of almond butter and a banana, but it's
very simple, basic.
We don't
breakfast.
have like this huge variety of foods that we eat, because, the American family has maybe 6 or 7 things that they make,
all the time.
Right. Yeah. And like for lunch, I might have a great big salad with that amazing dressing I told you about, or the California balsamic vinegars. Well, I'll drizzle some of those over the salad and have that if I don't have that other dressing available. And they're amazing for salad dressings.
Yes, they are. And if you want to get some California balsamic, you can go to californiabalsamic.com/fabulous health, and you can get some from them. They're lovely. Plus, they'll give you 2 free bottles on me. Yay.
Yes. So, and you guys will be blown away with these balsamic vinegars. They are out of this world amazing.
They are a game changer, aren't they?
They Absolutely. Are totally a game changer.
So what do you say to the people who say, boring, I don't want to eat salads for lunch every day?
Well, when you will realize when you get away from the junk food, I don't crave junk food hardly anymore. Now, I'm still kind of new at it. I'm less than a year in. And if I'm starving and I'm at the supermarket and I smell that rotisserie chicken, I'm kind of, that smells pretty good. But would I ever go back knowing how good I feel now to how I was back then? Never in a million years. I will never go back, because why give all this up? I feel so good now. I have no pain really anywhere. My energy level is so much better. I feel like I look younger now than I did.
You look fantastic. You absolutely look fantastic.
I have reinvented myself, is what I tell people who haven't seen me in a while. I just reinvented myself, and but this is not a thing that keeps you in the kitchen for hours and hours and hours. Like I'll batch bake. I'll take several potatoes and throw them in and bake a bunch of baked potatoes, and I'll throw them in the refrigerator, and I'll have broccoli cooked, or I'll make pinto beans, a big pot of beans, and put them in the refrigerator. So if I'm starving and I want something in a pinch, I'll just throw some beans over my potato, and I have this really good recipe for this, it's almost like a fake Alfredo-y kind of a sauce, but it's got nutritional yeast and onions, and it's really good for you, actually. And it's amazing.
Might have to post that. We might have to put a link to that in the show notes, I think.
Yeah, we can do that, because it's delicious. And I'll use that for a sauce over, potatoes and vegetables. And it really helps you, because after a while, if you don't know how to season up your food, I think a lot of problem people have is, just vegetables all the time. Ugh, there's just not a lot of flavor. But if you know how to use seasonings, make these sauces, there's a bunch of different sauces that you can make. Just on YouTube and look for whole food plant-based sauces, and you'll pull up several different people who have these little cooking shows. Esselstein's, there's Well Your World, there's
I love Well Your World.
Yes.
So I talk about Well Your World all the time. Well Your World are 2 people, Dylan and Reeves, and they are whole food, plant-based, no oil, no sugar, no salt, just like me. Mm-hmm. And they have a food company, and they sell seasonings and salad dressings if you don't want to make them yourself, and pasta sauces, and nutritional yeast, and cheese sauce made out of potatoes, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to buy their stuff, you can get that from fabuloushealth.net too. Just click on the button, the shop button, and I'm an affiliate for them because they are so fantastic. Somebody's just asked, where do you get the salad dressing from? Honey, you get it from California Balsamic californiabalsamic.com/Fabulous Health. There we go. So you talked about lunch. You talked about when you're hungry. What about dinner? Are you in the kitchen forever making complex recipes and finding difficult ingredients because vegan is so weird?
No, in fact, I've learned how to make a whole food plant-based lasagna. It's like a macaroni and cheese, but it's called mac and cash. I love that one. It's easy to make. You throw the ingredients in your food processor for your sauce. You boil some pasta. You slice up some cherry tomatoes. You throw it all in a casserole. You bake it for 20 minutes, and boom, you've got this great tasting casserole. And it's not a big time consuming thing, really. I mean, I cook more now than I ever have because I just was in the standard American diet. There's a lot of shortcuts, there's a ton of shortcuts, but it's all this horribly processed food that is so not good for your body. And
do you use frozen vegetables and frozen fruits too?
I do. Yeah, I do. I get frozen blueberries at the store, and that's what we throw in our oatmeal every morning. There's nothing wrong with frozen fruit or frozen vegetables. If I don't feel like steaming up some fresh broccoli, I have bags of frozen broccoli that I keep in my freezer, and I'll just throw some of that in a little casserole dish and throw it in the microwave for 5 minutes or whatever, and there's my broccoli. And just throw a little bit of a sauce, or I'm telling you, the California balsamics, you're going to be amazed. It helps you get the vegetables down. You can drizzle. There's so many different flavors of those vinegars that I use. The 7-herb Italian, this ruby red onion is amazing on baked potatoes. There's so many different things that you can drizzle over your food to help you make it more palatable.
That's the thing. And then I think what happens, Susie Ann, is that when somebody begins a whole food plant-based lifestyle, they're not getting the dopamine response or the serotonin response from the excess sugar, oil, and fat. So they may go, oh, it's bland, or it doesn't have that punch, or it doesn't have that flavor. But that is because their body has been tuned into those hyper palatable foods.
Yes.
And after a while, did you find that in the beginning everything was like, and then after a few weeks everything was like much more tasty? You could taste the difference between a red and a green pepper, for example, or taste the difference between an orange and a purple carrot. Talk to us about your taste buds and how they changed over the period of the few months.
Well, for me, the biggest change I've noticed is because I used to be the type of person that would pull into a gas station and get a package of ding dongs and sit there in the parking lot and eat them, or Hostess cupcakes or something like that. I was kind of a sugar addict, and that was hard for me to deal with at first too. But now it has gotten to the point where if I feel a little bit like I want a sweet tooth, I'll have a banana, or I'll go grab a handful of cherries out of my refrigerator, or I'll have a little cup of applesauce, unsweetened applesauce. To me, tastes so sweet now. If I were to buy sweetened applesauce, it would probably gross me out, because it's amazing how you will learn to retaste food, what it's really supposed to taste like. And I start craving the healthy foods. I love celery. Yes. I love salads. I love the crunch of the lettuce and the flavor of the lettuce. And I don't need to drizzle a bunch of the wishbone Italian dressing on there now. I can just drizzle a tablespoon of the California balsamic vinegar, or some of the aquafaba and balsamic vinegar and a little bit of lime juice is amazing for salad.
It is amazing.
And it's you get satiated completely.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I prescribe to my clientele vegetables for breakfast, and people hear that and they go, are you freaking crazy? But you know what? No, we're not crazy. It is delicious. And I think Dr. Esselstyn has been quoted as saying, I think I've seen him in a video, he says, You put sauce on anything and it's going to taste fantastic. You know what I mean? So if you've made your vegetarian Alfredo sauce or your cheese sauce or your mushroom gravy or your pomodoro sauce or whatever it is, or your balsamic vinegar, and you put it on top of, you know, even zucchini, which is pretty tasteless, you're going to enjoy your food.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing about this diet is as long as you're eating whole food, plant-based, you don't got to portion control yourself. You can eat your heart out. I mean, I will sit down and chow down a big old baked potato stuffed full of broccoli with about a 3/4 of a cup probably of this sauce. I mean, I just dump food on my plate, and I'm having like, these plates are heavy, and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to weigh probably 2 pounds heavier tomorrow morning because I'm eating all this food today. And I'll get on the scale, bang, it's all gone. It's like, where did it go? I mean, it's like you can eat till you're full. Now, you do have to limit yourself a little bit of avocado, the nuts and the seeds, because those are so calorie dense. If you're eating all that, you can still, it's going to take you more time to lose your weight. But I mean, I just feel like this has been the easiest once you get the hang of it. There's a little bit of a curve. I mean, I went through about a 3-month curve. I was still using cooking spray. I was still, I was using vegan mayonnaise. It took me a while to completely go. But once I saw those 2 documentaries, I was just like,
Yeah, and I'll put a link to those in the show notes too for the replay people. I can't do it live, obviously, but I'll put that in there. And that's Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over
and
Knives.
The Game Changers.
And The Game Changers. Those are the 2 main ones that I watched. And then once my husband watched them, he went right in with me. And now it's cool. We're like a team. So when we go to the store,
have you seen Plant Pure Nation? That's a fantastic.
Yes. That's a really good one too.
I recommend that to everybody as well. Plant Pure
That's
Nation.
A really good one.
That's a great.
Eating You Alive. Eating You Alive is another really good one.
Talking about movies,
I know.
Fantastic. It's great. Well, that's a good thing because there is so many people in the world now realizing that whole plant foods are the future of health. And I'm so very happy to have met you and to hear your story, because I think you're such an inspiration to people, because I can get out there and I can stand on my soapbox and I can rabbit on forever, eat the plants. And, sometimes I think I'm a bit of an evangelist. I feel like I'm born again plant eater, but I've actually been a plant eater my whole life.
Yes.
But it's like I want to shout from the rooftops, people, I can fix you, but it's not me that's fixing them. It's the plants that are fixing them.
It's the plants.
It's the plants that are fixing them. So I'm so very, very grateful to have you in my life. And I'm so very grateful that you came on today. So if you've got any words of wisdom for people who are thinking, oh, it's too scary, I don't know what to do, it's overwhelming, I'm too scared, what kind of words of wisdom would you have for them?
My words of wisdom are just take that first step. Watch a couple of these documentaries on YouTube and listen to the information. It's eye-opening. It was eye-opening to me. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would weigh this weight, ever. I mean, I thought I was just going to be, like I said earlier, I was just going to be a chubby little old lady. And that was my thing. And I mean, I just can't believe, I still can't believe it. It's like, to me, it's, I look in the mirror in the morning and I'm like, dang, even my son told me last week, he goes, Mom, you are getting pretty skinny. You don't want to lose any more weight now. Even my son is starting to say things like, Mom, you're getting real skinny, but I'm pigging out.
Yeah. So, and you're healthy.
Yeah. And I feel great. So I can't complain, but my words of wisdom are watch a few of the documentaries, baby steps. This doesn't have to be an overnight conversion. You can ease yourself into it. I mean, sometimes it's better though to jump off the cliff and just dive right in, and it's almost sticks with you a little bit better. But because I dove off the cliff giving up meat and dairy, but it took me a little bit of time to give up the oils. Like I said, I was using Pam cooking spray and I was doing the vegan mayonnaise and the fake cheese and all that kind of stuff. That's just loaded with oils. But and then once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to give up that little bit of extra bad stuff, that you're still kind of incorporating. So and then once you realize how much better you're feeling, you're going to be like, dang, you just can't ever go back, because I would never give this up.
No, I find that once your brain assimilates that processed food and animal products as poisonous to your body, there's no desire for it anymore.
Yeah.
So, for example, you could send me through to Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken or Cinnabon or any of those places, and I would not even want to be there. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, because for me, that's poison. And I'm not putting poison in my body. I'm only putting healthy, whole foods. And I think that's the thing that people struggle with the most, is that they are not at that point yet where they believe that is poison. And once you get there, it's easy peasy and you are home free.
Right. And it is. When you watch these documentaries and you hear the science behind it, research it yourself. You cannot debunk this diet. You
lovely.
It is what it is.
True.
The only diet that's actually proven to reverse heart disease, diabetes, they haven't proven that with the Atkins diet. They haven't proven that with keto, there's theories out there, but there's no scientific proof that it has actually reversed anything. So
that's true. And I love to say to people, find me the proof where the whole food plant-based diet is not the best diet for you.
Right.
There isn't any.
No.
That's true.
We're living proof, and it's
working.
It's a no-brainer. It's working, and it's a no-brainer for me now.
That's true.
So,
and we've had a question, what about olive oil? No, we're talking all oils. All oils are bad oils. Stay away from all oils, particularly if you're looking to reduce inflammation and lose weight. Yes. Well, Susie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. And, it has been my pleasure.
I really, really appreciate you coming on the Fabulous Health Show today.
Awesome. Happy to be here.
Well, that was fantastic, Susie Ann Lybarger, and she is so inspirational. Thank you so much for watching the Fabulous Health Show. Did you know that you can listen to this as a podcast? It's available on all your favorite podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer, you name it, it's there. All you have to do is search for the Fabulous Health Show. And of course, I'm also on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Fabulous Health TLC. Go check it out. And if you want to take your health to the next level and you need some personal help, I'm your chick. Just give me a call or check me out on fabuloushealth.net. And I hope you have a fabulous day. See you later.